Devguru Jupiter is the advisor to Sun. Jupiter's orbit creates solar flares on the Sun. Jupiter generates long-term policy matters on Earth. Gelephu Mindfulness City, GMC, a special administrative region in Bhutan, announced on January 8, 2025, its plan to include Bitcoin, Ether, and BNB in its strategic reserves. So interesting. On that date, Jupiter rose on the eastern horizon, one sign after Moon rose. Moon traveled in Aries, and Jupiter retrograded in Taurus towards Moon. Jupiter generates long-term policy on Earth, as he is the advisor to Sun, the king. Taurus, where Jupiter travels, is the second zodiac sign and generates liquid reserves on Earth. This move follows the enactment of the Application of Laws Act 2024, creating a regulatory framework for digital asset services in GMC. Positioned as a hub for blockchain innovation, GMC will host a global meeting in March of 2025 to discuss integrating digital assets into national reserves. It's fascinating. In March is when Jupiter will be traveling forwards in the same zone of Taurus where he retrograded when Bhutan's Gelephu Mindfulness City first announced its plans. I'm sure that's not the way it's pronounced. In March, it will become obvious that different countries and jurisdictions are going to implement Bitcoin reserves. This moment can both positively impact Bitcoin price, but also inspire certain agencies to try to control its use by their citizens. They will not succeed, but it is important to watch for this if one holds a significant percentage of their net worth in Bitcoin. I wrote about, I think I mentioned Bhutan in the Bitcoin countries book, and then as for the rest of what I'm saying, if you have the book, it's no longer in circulation, Bitcoin by 2026, you can check that. This is so interesting to me, actually, for two reasons. One is that they're including Binance's BNB. I think that the emperor of that country has a professional acquaintanceship with CZ, maybe, or something, because I saw like a picture of them on Twitter. But it's very interesting. Like, it makes sense to me, actually, because I've been bullish long-term on BNB for some time. I also foresaw when that exchange would have serious issues, but I'm just an astrologer, and I don't have enough reach, I don't think, but I was warning actually about the problems that Binance would have in the US for a long time. I did my best, but I just don't have that reach, right? So what to do? My message maybe didn't get out. I had warned them to get out of the US way before all the bad stuff happened. Anyway, long story short, that's one reason why I think it's interesting about Bhutan. And then another reason, of course, is because Bhutan has been mining Bitcoin for a really long time now. They're really like on the forefront with that. They were one of the first countries, I think, and they just kept going. And so I find this all very, very interesting, actually. And now, and also, like, another really interesting thing about this is that they're holding publicly announced event about how to incorporate these crypto reserves, right? So it's like it almost is like a statement, because it's like a publicly announced event that they have a date for, that they're going to do, right? Whereas other countries, you don't hear that kind of statement. You just know finally that, obviously Trump finally made that statement, but which is really good. But I just find it very interesting because Bhutan is a small country. Nobody really ever pays attention to this country, generally speaking. It's not like a huge economic force, but I actually mentioned this, I believe, in the Bitcoin Countries book, that small countries like this, like Bhutan, Uruguay, I mentioned, I think, as a possibility, actually. They're small, like how El Salvador is also a small, very small country. But I mentioned this, I talked about this, about how those small countries are going to be on the forefront. And like I've been mentioning, like kind of like places that start attracting people who have a lot of their net worth in Bitcoin. I'm not sure about Bhutan because I've always thought of it as more of a, not like somewhere with a lot of expats, but I don't really know, right? I don't know. I've never been to Bhutan. And anyway, so interesting. So let's see about this. I find this fascinating. Okay, this was the Jupiter Crypto Podcast.